Hey everybody! This week we are going to be focusing on tone production, and tone production is a combination of 5 different things. We've got bow hold, contact point, bow angle, part of your bow, and your bow weight and your speed. So we're going to combine all of those things together this week, spend a day on each one, review everything, and make sure that we are getting the best tone or sound out of our instrument that we can. So your tone production is the quality of the sound that's coming out of your instrument. It's not being in tune. Tune and tone are 2 different things. That was really hard to say. So we're going to spend this week on tone and articulation. Alright, step 1 in getting a great tone out of your instrument comes from your bow hand. And your bow hand is a lot more important than what I think we give it credit for. We may place a lot of emphasis on your instrument hand, making sure your fingers are in tune, making sure you're holding your instrument properly, and sometimes the bow hand kind of falls by the wayside. So what we're going to do today is review a proper bow hold and make sure that your fingers are flexible and curved and ready to play. So I'm going to use a pencil. You can also use a marker or a pen, especially if you're a cello or a bass player. And this goes back to like 5th grade when we first learned how to hold our bow. So your pencil is going to be held in your bow hold just like you would hold your bow. So this is a violin or a viola bow hold, okay? You notice a few things. Number 1, all of my fingers are curved, they are round, they are flexible, okay? If I have something that looks like this, you can see that it's creating tension in my hand and in my wrist, and I have no flexibility in that hand. So what we want is a curved thumb, curved fingers. My first 3 fingers are wrapped around. You can see that my middle finger is even covering my thumbnail there, okay? And then my pinky sits on top, all right? So that pinky is in charge of balancing out the bow. You can see how flexible my whole hand is when everything is relaxed this way, okay? If I am a cello, the only adjustment I'm going to make is this pinky is going to come down a little farther, and all of my fingers are a little straighter. So you can see the violin and viola bow hold, we're kind of leaning in towards the tip of the bow. The cello bow hold is a little more straightforward. It comes down like this, and then of course it'll be hanging down this way when you're playing on your instrument. Your thumb is still curved. Maybe not quite as much as the violins and violas, but you don't want to be gripping like a crab claw, okay? Your thumb is still going to be curved even on a cello bow hold. And a bass bow hold is basically the same. You've got a little more weight to counteract here, so your pinky will sometimes want to creep up here and try to hold that bow in place, but you've got to make sure you keep your pinky down and over the bow. If you are doing a German bow hold for the bass bow, I'll show you that on the bow in just a second. Okay, so on the actual bow itself, I've got a violin bow here. You can see that my thumb is down here between the frog and the grip, okay? It is not pushing through. It is up on its tip. Everything else is curved around. Pinky is on top. My pinky does not extend down to the screw. You don't want to go down to the screw. You want to keep that pinky in and relaxed, okay? Fingers are wrapped. Everything is nice and relaxed. If you turn it around to the back, you can see the curve. Okay, now this allows for a lot of balance and flexibility in your bow and in your bow hand. Okay, so I can move my fingers around, I can pick it up, I can set it down, and everything stays nicely in place. Cello bow, very similar. Thumb goes in the same spot, still not pushing through. Okay. Fingers wrap around. If your fingers are touching the ferrule down here, that's fine. Okay, not a big deal. You're wrapped around, still have the same amount of flexibility in your hand. Thumb is still curved and relaxed behind. Bass bow is very similar to cello bow. We might have a little more space between your fingers on a bass bow because, again, the weight of your bow is heavier, so you might space your fingers out just a little bit more. But the key is to make sure that this pinky is not locking out. You want to keep that relaxed. You can see the difference between locked and relaxed. And your thumb is curved behind. Now, if you are playing with a German bow is slightly different. You are not going to shove your fingers through a German bow like you're trying to do the I love you in sign language, okay? Your fingers are curved. Your first finger is up here near your thumb. Your other 3 fingers are relaxed, pinky is right behind it. So this is a very relaxed bow hold. You are not gripping like this. It should not look like you're trying to stab somebody with your bow, okay? Pinky is relaxed under here. These two fingers kind of floating in space. This finger and the thumb are doing most of the balancing work. Okay, now with that perfect bow hold in mind, what we're going to do is a few exercises to increase the flexibility in your fingers. These are probably going to wear your fingers out, especially if you haven't played a whole lot over the summer. So I want you to take them really, really slowly at first. Take your time, take breaks. If your hand starts to cramp, set your bow down, give it a little bit of time, okay? So the first one we're going to do is you're going to have your hand set up in your bow hold. It'll either be here or here. And you're going to just tap individual fingers, okay? We did this back in 5th grade. So you're just tapping first finger. I'm not pinching, I'm not grabbing, just tapping. Tapping second finger. Tapping ring finger. Tapping pinky finger. And again, if you are a cello, then that pinky finger is right here on the front. And then you're going to tap your thumb on the back, and you're going to make sure that everything is still nice and relaxed. Now what you can't see on this side is that I am supporting the weight of my bow with my other hand, okay? Don't try to do this with the weight on your bow, because you see that my pinky changed shape as soon as I took that hand away. So keep your bow supported while you are doing these exercises. All right, our second one is going to be pull-ups. So you're going to take your fingers and you're going to relax them all down. Notice I'm not pushing or squeezing, I'm just relaxing them down. And then you're going to bring your fingers in just like you're pulling up something off of the ground, okay? Like maybe sand or something. You're pulling up sand at the beach, okay? So you're pulling up and then you're relaxing down. Pulling it up, relaxing it down. Your thumb is staying curved the whole time. Relaxing it down, pulling it up, relaxing it down. Okay, so that's number 2. The next one I want you to try is to see if you can move your bow forwards and backwards just a little bit using your fingers. So notice it's moving about an inch, maybe 2 inches. You can see there at the end, it's just moving forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. Same thing with cello, except your movement is going to be a little bit more vertical. Okay, so what this is leading us all up to is actually playing on your instrument, obviously. And what I want you to see is that when you are playing with your bow hand stays relaxed the whole time, okay? So you're not going to set this down here and then change everything out, okay? Your bow hand is going to stay relaxed while you are playing. So the exercises we're doing this week are going to involve long tones, short tones, scales. Okay, you're going to use a lot of open strings just so you can focus on the little tiny details that we're working on. So if I were to play a whole note, my fingers are flexible, okay? They are not locked out, they are staying curved the whole time. Same thing if I'm playing a quarter note. You can see that there's a little bit of movement. I called those jellyfish fingers back when we were younger, okay? So there's a little bit of movement in that hand when you are playing with your bow, okay? Same thing with 8th notes, 16th notes, okay? So you are going to work on your assignments today with your focus being on your bow hand. Everything is about the bow hand today. Good luck!